Napoleon and British finance. At the beginning of the 19th century, Europe was shaken by a series of conflicts that would reshape the continent. At the center of these wars stood one of history's most famous military leaders, Napoleon Bonaparte. His ambition was enormous. He sought to dominate Europe politically, militarily, and economically. Napoleon built one of the most powerful armies the continent had ever seen. His forces achieved remarkable victories across Italy, Central Europe, and much of the European mainland. Many countries fell under his control or influence. For a time, it appeared that Napoleon's empire might become unstoppable. But military strength alone does not determine the outcome of wars. Behind every battlefield stands a financial system that must sustain armies, supply equipment, and keep soldiers motivated. This is where Britain held a powerful advantage. While Napoleon relied heavily on conquered territories and wartime resources, Great Britain developed an advanced financial structure that allowed it to fund long and expensive wars. The British government issued debt, borrowed funds, and maintained strong credit in international markets. Most importantly, these financial operations were supported by one crucial asset: gold. Gold reserves and trusted financial networks allowed Britain to maintain confidence in its currency and its ability to repay loans. That confidence became one of the most important strategic tools in the conflict against Napoleon. The Rothschild role. One of the most influential financial families of that era was the Rothschild banking family. Their network of banks across Europe allowed them to move capital quickly and efficiently across borders. At a time when communication was slow and transportation difficult, this financial network became incredibly valuable. The Rothschilds helped finance British military operations by providing loans and managing the movement of funds. These loans were often backed by gold reserves, which provided reassurance to investors and governments alike. Gold acted as a guarantee. Because lenders knew that the value behind these loans was supported by physical gold, they were more willing to provide the large sums of money needed to support Britain's war effort. This allowed Britain to sustain long campaigns, even when battles were costly and prolonged. The financial system supporting Britain proved far more resilient than many of its rivals. While Napoleon won many battles, Britain's financial stability allowed it to continue fighting year after year. In many ways, this demonstrated an important historical lesson. Wars are fought not only with weapons, but also with financial strength. Gold helped create that strength. Wellington's army. The connection between gold and military effectiveness was also visible on the battlefield itself. Arthur Wellesley, better known as the Duke of Wellington, commanded British forces against Napoleon's armies during the Peninsular War in Spain and Portugal. Wellington understood that soldiers needed reliable payment and stable supplies to remain effective. British troops were often paid in gold coins. This was more than a simple wage. It was a signal of stability and trust. Soldiers knew their payment held real value, and local populations were more willing to trade with an army that paid in gold. When armies travel through foreign lands, they depend heavily on local markets for food, transportation, and supplies. Payment in unstable or unfamiliar currency can cause distrust or refusal. Gold solved this problem immediately. Merchants recognized its value without question. While French finances struggled under the weight of constant war expenses and debt, British gold maintained credibility across Europe. This financial credibility strengthened alliances, supported logistics, and maintained morale among troops. Eventually, the long conflict reached its climax at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815, where Napoleon's forces were defeated. Many factors contributed to that outcome: strategy, alliances, and military leadership. But behind these visible events stood a quieter force that had supported Britain throughout the war. That force was financial stability backed by gold.